Are you ready for Dustin's Final? Here comes your host, live from an undisclosed record store basement, Dustin Chafin.
Yeah. Awesome. Give it up for Anthony, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy. You were getting into that. I was going to be hard to pull you out of that.
Yeah, I was going to just play the whole song. I don't know.
You know, once you get into a Cars song, it's really hard to pull out. Like, it's just one of those.
That's why the band lasted so long.
I think so. There's such a, time of band. I love the Cars. We're talk about one of their albums today, their debut album, and very excited. I love all things Cars. Cars. It's gonna be a car show. We're gonna like fun. I got Hot Wheels. That's how much I love Cars. Yeah.
You know what? My first word was Cars.
Really?
I'm not making that up.
Is that where you were conceived? Is that why?
Yeah, in the back.
Why you said Cars?
In the back of a car while the Cars was playing the first album.
Nice. Yeah, his little Corvette, Corvette, Mattel. It's funny. My best friend, which not my best friend's girlfriend, but my best friend, his mom worked at Mattel, and so we would go over and just steal all his Hot Wheels. So half of these are stolen from like third grade.
Oh man! Oh, you still have those? Are from when you were a kid?
Yeah, these are the '80s ones.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
And these are pretty impressive. And they have some that are prototypes. And this is what happened. Mattel, they came out with these Hot Wheels, and they had rubber tires on them, right?
Yeah.
And then they released them, and then everybody was like, "Holy shit! They come off. We're gonna start killing toddlers." And so they recalled all of them.
Oh,
and so I have
yeah.
These are worth like $200 a pop. These
are
like
they really? I had some of those with the tires that come off, and then I remember that was not a thing anymore. It was just plastic tires after a while.
So it's car. My whole life is cars. My father was a used car salesman, and he sold Corvettes. That was a big deal. So Corvette. And I have scoliosis a little bit. I have a little scoliosis in my spine of my back because I spent most of my childhood in the back of a Corvette, like just in the back window of a L82 Corvette. So my whole thing is there. But so this band is gonna be fun. I think it's the first band that I kind of like. I don't know. My brothers, were a little older than me, and so I remember like understanding, music and a little more at a certain age in my life, like 11 and 12 is when we all kind of like had awakenings for music. Because everything before that was whatever, TV was inspiring us or whatever movie we saw. But I think a little older, you start to experience that stuff. And I was actually in a Cars tribute band. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know I was a Cars tribute band. Yeah. It was pretty exciting. We played Cars songs, but it was all country. It was country versions of the Cars song. We were called the Trucks. I'll show you a couple songs, just what I needed. Here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. When you're standing oh so near, I kind of lose my mind. Something like that,
Yeah.
Then we did Best Friend's Girlfriend, Always dancing down the street with your blue eyes and your new boy you want to meet. I even know I'm your cousin, it was something like that. It was.
That's pretty good.
All right. We're good. I just got to stare at Jeff's serious face, but it was good. It was good. Have fun here, Jeff. That was the Trucks. That was the Trucks. That was the Trucks. So I'm very excited. I'm going to do a random pull today. Our random pull today it's all debut albums. And a lot of people don't think of the Cars as punk rock because they think of them as this punk, this pop band because they had so many, top, kind of Billboard hits. But to me, they're truly a punk band. And if you kind of slow them down and go different directions with the melodies and stuff, they could have easily been more punk rock. This, Never Mind the Bollocks, Sex Pistols, I covered this on my Instagram thing, but I wanted to bring this one back.
I think that's all I know how to play from there.
You better get it down, or Jeff's gonna destroy you. He has a very high bar with comedic guitar sounds. Apparently, he didn't get the memo that we're trying to have fun on the show. But did this album mean anything to you? Because this album was a big deal to me. I remember when I heard it, it opened up kind of my sensibilities of what punk rock really was.
Yeah.
You know, it was more than the music, you know. It was like a statement of kind of just, you know, rebelling against everything. And then
I think for me, my introduction to punk rock was probably the Ramones. Nice. But then because my mom listened to Ramones a lot, and then she actually had Nevermind the Bollocks, and that was like, I mean, they didn't sound like the Ramones and they didn't look like the Ramones, and that the Sex Pistols look and sound was sort of what became kind of associated with all punk rock at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, this band is so good. Even when Johnny Rotten got into Trump, I still like them. You know, I still like them.
Pretend it didn't happen.
But if you think about it, that's as punk rock as you're going to be. Because first of all, he lives in fucking England, and then he's like, you know, and the fact that he knows that pisses everybody off, that's truly punk rock. So in the end, I kind of saw through the lines. I was like, okay, this guy likes to piss everybody off. That's what punk is. And so he's picking a fucking guy. So the whole thing where he says, I mean, we saw, his solo band or whatever, when it was the PIL.
Oh, PIL, yeah.
PIL, I don't know what to call them. But anyway, I saw them in Fort Worth, and I remember we were front row. And, Johnny Rotten spit on me. And, this is pre-COVID. So it wasn't like, do I have to go to the hospital? You know?
Yeah, so it was fine. Everything was cool.
I was this like anointed punk rock thing, like this god of punk. So anyway, this album had everything on this album is great. Like I listened to this album, and every song is phenomenal. God Save the Queen, Anarchy in the UK, all of the Holiday, and they're just, every song on here is just a great punk song. And it's like, as much as the band kind of got overplayed, and I think this is like the only real studio album they actually ever put out.
Yep.
And so the whole thing is crazy. It's like a one album wonder, but
that's all that they needed.
Yeah,
and then they fell apart.
That was kind of like me. I released one album, I fell apart, and then 3 years later, we did a Zoom album together. So and that kind of worked out. But yeah, sometimes they didn't have an Anthony, but it's a great album. So we're gonna, the show's all over the place, but we're gonna have a good time today. We're talking about cars, not just Hot Wheels. We're talking about an amazing band and their first album. So I'm going to bring in my co-hosts. So I'm sure they're just waiting for me to stop talking. But here we go. We're going to bring in Jeffrey Paul, Adam Hulse, everybody. Play some music, Anthony. Yeah. Let's go. I mind you coming to the show. Dustin Vinyl, yeah. Look at the old switch of the hats. Look at that. There we go. Now we're back in it. Now we're doing Dustin's Vinyl. Nice. You had a little flair to that. What's up, guys?
What is up?
How are you?
I used to love Public Image Limited. That's what PIL stands for, Public Image Limited. And they had a couple of great songs. I used to love the song Rise and Seattle. I remember going out to the clubs out on Long Island and going like to these alternative rock clubs. And that was like the big hits. I mean, I think Johnny Rotten with Public Image better than the Sex Pistols.
Nah, not even close. But it was, I feel like that was some good songs. Like you said, 2 songs. There's nothing bad on that album. It's perfect from top to bottom. It's the best. Oh, yeah. I think it's the best punk rock album, like a top 5 of all time. Like there's not too many better than that. As far as produced, because you don't find a lot of good produced punk music ever. The Clash, maybe. Like there's very few good, produced punk record.
Are we putting the Clash as a punk rock band?
Absolutely. Yeah. First and foremost.
If they are,
foremost.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Are they?
Absolutely. There's nothing not punk about them. Yeah. Just because they can play their instruments doesn't make them not punk.
When they first came out,
they weren't that good.
Yeah, they weren't known as being great musicians.
Well, they're better than most in the punk world. They're fucking Mozarts. Yeah.
Like I would say, like the Ramones would be like punk, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but you know what I heard from somebody who knows. Apparently, the Ramones
just dropped the name Offspring. They have Offspring.
No, the Ramones recorded their albums to click tracks, to metronomes, and because they wanted the songs to be, kind of produced and pop sounding. So that's one of the most not punk things that I heard about.
I like when they switch over to like recording that way, and then they switch over to Phil Spector and give them the whole wall of sound on that one particular album.
What album was
that? That was pretty good too.
Yeah, that was the one with I could hear the strings in the background. Anthony, do you know the name of it? Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember the name of the album and the song.
That's okay. Just move
on. Is that the one with Rock and Roll Radio?
No. It comes after.
Oh.
Yeah.
Adam has all the answers. That's what he's here for.
Yeah.
Better look it up.
That's all good. So I just think the Sex Pistols, kind of what Anthony was saying, just like everything kind of like derived from them. And Public Image Limited, that was a good band and a good time. They were almost kind of like reminded me of Big Audio Dynamite, where it was like this interesting sound, and they were kind of like taking a risk and doing something different. But it's definitely not what the Clash was. Whereas I feel this is not what the Sex Pistols was. So it's just a departure that was interesting and a lot of fun. But I don't know. This album will make you, freaking tell your dad what you really think.
I think the similarities between Public Image and Big Audio Dynamite is that they're a little bit more dance oriented than the Clash and the Sex Pistols are.
Well, it's a different kind of dance. There's a thing called moshing. There's
no mind back with the
slam dancing.
Slam dancing, remember that?
Pogo. I think they call it pogo.
It's the exact same thing. You just date yourself by what you call it. Moshing is slam dancing.
I remember moshing.
But in England, I think they call it pogo.
Yeah. Some people call it Molly. I still call it ecstasy. It's all the same shit.
If you took it in the 90s, it was ecstasy.
Exactly. It's all the same. But moshing, whatever. Yeah, but it moves you. It's definitely music that moves you. I've danced it, so I've danced to some Sex Pistols, but it's like I said, you bump shit over, but it's still dancing.
Yeah.
I don't know, Anthony, I don't know, you weren't here early on in the show, but Jeff calls himself a phenomenal dancer.
I'm a great dancer. Right? Phenomenal.
Like to this day, dancer. Like right now, he's a phenomenal dancer.
I can still dance.
You want to
But he will never show a video. There's no proof of it, but really? he's a self-proclaimed phenomenal
Why do I have to? No, I'm confident in my dance skills. When the time is right, the dancer will be revealed.
I got a lot of letters from the fans, and they want to see a video. They want to see a video.
They want to see the
letters.
The Dustin vinyl. Hey, it's a vinyl show. Of course, they write letters. They're not going to do email. I got
a lot.
Even though it's on Twitch, they go old school with the communication. We got to get a video, Jeff. I want a video by the end of the month. I want you to get your best dance video. Get your kid out there to shoot it, and let's do it. We're gonna get you viral, bro. We'll get you on TikTok. You're gonna be huge.
That's what I need.
You do need it. We all need it. That's how you fill seats.
If people are coming to see
people don't watch TV anymore,
then we know that entertainment has really fallen.
Dude, they go to see a guy with a panda head. They don't care. That's
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wear a panda head and I'm gonna dance.
It's actually been done. You got to do something else.
Okay, I'll wear a turtle head.
Ooh, that works. I like that. You're kind of turtley. I like that.
A turtle head and a turtle shell.
And a turtle. I think the Ninja Turtles.
While you're eating turtle soup.
I'll do a whole Ninja Turtle thing. Yes.
This is probably the best opening we've ever had.
We got one of the viewers here says it's Mord Stud Monkey says we will be watching your MySpace for the video.
MySpace is coming back. Right. If Justin Timberlake can bring back sexy,
I like this audience.
Bring back MySpace.
I like this audience. They get it. They get it. They know how to roast Jeff in a proper way.
Right. All right.
MySpace. You been in MySpace lately? It's a ghost town.
No.
Oh, yes.
Is it even still around?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's weird though. I feel like it's all bots. Like you feel like you're walking in Westworld. Like it's just weird, man. It's just like it doesn't even feel real.
What about Friendster? Is that still around?
What is it? Friendster?
Is that still around?
I don't know if it is.
Hey, Adult Finder is. I'll tell you that. And Grindr, huh? Am I right, Jeff? Come on. That's how Jeff and I met. We met on Grindr.
And that's how we hooked up to do the show.
That's right. We're going to start a new band called Glory Hole. Okay. All right. What? We're off the charts today. I like it. All right, Jeff, break us in. What's going on? What are we talking about today?
So today, listen, when you text me about doing this album, I'm not kidding. I had my phone in my hand. I was about to text you and suggest this album as well.
No, you weren't.
Why would I say? Of course I was.
But nobody
texts me. Stuff up a lot.
I'm over here waiting for a text.
I was going to text you about this.
I texted you about that horrible sketch, The Trucks.
Oh wait, that was the sketch.
That's why I'm dressed like Rick.
We're going to show your act next week. It'll be worse. All right.
Okay. So the album that we're doing is the Cause debut album, 1978 album release.
God, that's a long time ago.
Sells more than 6 million albums. Stayed on the Billboard chart for 139 consecutive weeks.
Wow.
When you think about
what is that, like 2.5 years?
I think so.
Yeah. When you think about who the Cause were, they were a dominant band from 78 to 88. Okay. 6 platinum albums, countless number of singles. And even though the band in 2018 gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I still think they are underrated musicians. I think this is a band
insane. That's insane. They made so much money and are so freaking popular. How are they underrated?
Because they should have been first ballot.
That thing's not even real. That's not even a real thing.
It is a real thing.
No, it's not. It's a building where people try to pretend they know stuff. They made all of them. He's married a supermodel. They made it.
Yeah. If you're married to a supermodel, you can't be underrated.
You made it. They're not underrated.
They should have been no-brainer first ballot Hall of Famers.
No.
They should have.
They were. You have a list. You got to go. Rolling Stone.
This is a band that didn't have a clunker. And they come out of the gates, and amongst people used to refer to say, hey, the first underrated album should just be called their greatest hits album, because just about every song on it is just phenomenal. Unfortunately, the Cause lose 2 members. In 2000, Benjamin Orr died of pancreatic cancer. In 2019, co-singer, co-founder Rick Ocasek passes away. But this band formed in Boston in 1976. They get noticed by producing their own demo, their first demo, and they circulated themselves. They get picked up by a radio station. They wind up getting a kind of like a little hit in the area, which I think was My Best Friend's Girl. And they get signed in 1977 by Elektra Records. And remember, when they come out, they are tabbed as a new wave band, okay?
Which is punk, technically, yes.
Yeah. Well, they call them a new wave. They call them a new wave band. But what I've stood out. Remember, this album comes out in 1978, right? They're different than a lot of the bands or the big music of the time, because you're talking about a time where the Eagles dominated the charts. Fleetwood Mac was huge back in the late 70s, and this is a band that was not only guitar oriented but also had the use of synthesizers, influenced by art rock, even rockabilly influences. All these guys can play. In fact, Elliot Easton, who's the lead guitarist, Slash credits him with being one of his biggest influences in actually just playing the guitar.
Wow.
Even someone like the drummer, Dave Robinson, he's the guy who came up with the name The Cause, and he designed all their iconic album covers. And we have the album cover up there. So, I mean, people identify with it. The songs are just insane. They're just great. I think a song like Moving in Stereo, written by Greg Hawkes, the keyboard player, and Rick Ocasek, has that. Yeah, you hear that? That's like that dream. That's like a creepy dream sound, right?
Is that the song that is in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yes. Do it again. Do it again. I love this song.
Something like that.
It's probably one of the best memorable place songs in a movie. I think when you hear that song, you think Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool. But what really makes the song great, and I think what makes the cause great.
Jerking in the bathroom, huh?
Just maybe it doesn't knock anymore.
I think what makes this band so great is like the dual singing between Ocasek and Benjamin Orr. And a lot of people said they couldn't tell the difference, but you can tell the difference because
I have a hard time telling the difference.
You had a hard time telling the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the difference is when you hear Rick Ocasek sing, he had a little bit more of like a new wave twang to his voice, where Benjamin Orr was more subtle. Like think about like a song that comes out a little later on, like Drive.
Well, Rick Ocasek, apparently, I think he was a zombie or something. Like he had,
he looked like a zombie.
He looked like he crawled out of the grave. So
he did.
And married a supermodel, so not underrated.
Right? Yeah, I don't know how to pull that off.
I'm not saying Rick Ocasek. I'm saying the band I think was underrated. But anyway, Orr sings like this song, even though he didn't write the song. I think his voice sets the mood. He was great at that. And then you go to a song like completely different, like My Best Friend's Girl, written by Ocasek as well. And
so who sings that one?
Rick Ocasek.
Okay.
And when you hear that song, first of all, the song is so catchy with the hand claps at the beginning. And when he wrote this song, it's like he's talking about like, someone who took his best friend's girl, she used to be mine. That never happened to him. He just imagined what it would be like to like lose a girlfriend.
That's how they all were. That's how they all were. They all made up shit. Johnny Cash never shot a man in Reno to watch him die. Tracy Chapman didn't have a fast car. It was all made up. It's all made up.
But last week, remember when we did Guns N' Roses, a lot of it came from personal experience. A lot of it came from Axl's personal experience. So
yeah, Rick Springfield. There's no Jesse's Girl. I'm just saying. A lot of it was made up. Was there?
Oh, absolutely, there was. But you had great background vocals.
I bet Jesse's pissed.
Of course. How can you get pissed? You're losing out to Rick Springfield. The guy's a supermodel. Okay, but I don't think
he's a supermodel. Okay, now you're worried.
Come on, he was an actor. He was a model. He's a musician.
I would never call a man a supermodel. It's just something like
say, I lose out to the better man there. And then you get another song like "Just What I Needed" was like another great one. This was the breakout hit. This was the #1 single.
I don't know. Come here. Sing it, Jeff. Sing it.
We'll make fun of you. My time. And
not so easy, is it?
Yeah. No. and that little thing there, right? Wasting my time. He kind of took that from. You remember the Ohio Express? They had a song called "Yummy, Yummy, Yummy." Okay.
Nobody remembers that.
I think I might remember that song.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Wait, sing it for a minute.
Yeah, sing it, Jeff.
I'm not singing that.
We take risk on this show. Adam, sing it. You don't know it. Adam's a baby. He doesn't know.
No, but that song was written while Rick Ocasek was living in the basement of a commune in Newton, Massachusetts. And the guitar riff, the drum riff was inspired by that song, and that I'm sorry, but that song was also sung by Benjamin Orr. That one was sung by Benjamin Orr.
But that's not Rick Ocasek singing, huh?
No,
it sounds pretty much the same.
Not on Just What I Needed. And
it's like the Eagles. You get confused.
Yeah, and you can go back on YouTube and watch performances like they were on the Midnight Special. Remember that show?
No.
There was a show, back in the day. They were
before
on
MySpace,
that.
Kids. Before MySpace.
Right. I think maybe there's a lot of great songs on it. I think one of the best ones is the song that opens the album is "Good Times Roll." I mean, I've been humming that like the last couple of days. It's a simple guitar riff, but it has those eerie synthesizers, stacked harmonies. You think like a song like Let the Good Times Roll would be kind of like an upbeat song, but it's not that at all. In fact, it's more of a mid-tempo type of song. And I think it's more of a sarcastic look, of the record business, let them comb your rock and roll hair. I think a lot of it is just a kind of like, a jab at the rock. Let the good times roll. Like here it comes. We're about to deal with all this shit.
Be underrated. Our entire career, and eat ramen noodle and date ugly girls.
When I was listening to this, I text Anthony. I want you to check out. There's a song called "I'm in Touch with Your World," and I asked you to check that out. Compare it to Shakedown Street. What did you think? I wanted you to see, can you were you able to play a little bit of that? Did you see a comparison?
Talking to Anthony about that.
I didn't learn it, but I did. I listened to the two songs, and the riff is pretty similar.
Dun, 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 right.
It sounded hard to play, so I.
After last week, he's not going to play anything. That's difficult, okay?
Yeah,
after
remember last week when I had to learn how to do...
Yeah, do it again. Do Sweet Child.
What song is that?
Yeah, why would he ever want to play something difficult so you can trash him? See, it's a setup. You're a trap. You're a trap.
Hey, we take risks on this show.
You're a trap.
But I think this song was like more of an experimental track. It's the most psychedelic song on the album. Because there's you hear like sounds, beeps, breaking glass at the end of the song. And the lyrics of the song are just kind of weird. I mean, I couldn't figure it out. It didn't make they didn't make a lot of sense. It's not one of my favorite songs on it. It could maybe be, I think, one of the worst songs on the album.
I liked how experimental it was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a bad song for the Cause is a great song for almost anybody else. And I'm not saying this is a bad song. It's just, I mean, when you look at You're All I've Got Tonight, which I fucking love that lyric. I like that as a title. That song to me sounds like a 70s garage band with a new wave twist to it. It's a great vocal from Rick Ocasek. It's a little bit of a mix of new wave, classic rock, little punk in there. I think that is such a tremendous song. I think one of the last songs on the album, on side 2, All Mixed Up, I think was a great song. I think it's the closest song to a ballad on the album. There's really no ballads on here. But I like that at the end of the song, it's the only song that has a sax on it. And I always think that brings it together. I mean, they weren't afraid to take any type of risks. I don't know. I think they are such a great band. And this to me has to be one top 10 debut albums of all time.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal album. I think it's, it's definitely, I bought it on vinyl, and it was kind of one of those things where you think it's the greatest hits, like you're saying, it's like one of those, it's like every song is just, polished and good. And of that time too, it was like, and it holds up a little bit, I was listening to it today, and it's like, you don't feel like it's 1985. Like even Guns N' Roses feels a little dated.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the Cars sound less dated than Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, and it was a 78. So
that's that first, like half of that album was on their greatest hits.
Oh yeah.
My mom had their greatest hits CD.
Your mom, man, she's gonna be on the show. I feel like
you should have had her instead of me, because she's the one that got me into all this stuff. The Cars might have been the first band that I ever heard. We would be driving around, and she would play stuff from the first album. And
what kind of kid were you, Anthony? Like because I remember when this album came out.
He's a kid that got picked on by guys like you. That's what kind of kid he was.
I was talking about my guitar skills.
But a guy like me, this band seemed like everyone kind of accepted them. Like the jocks accepted him, like the disco kids accepted, this band.
I think
everyone kind of dug them.
You left out 3 very important letters. MTV. I feel like MTV, like once in the 80s. This is before MTV. I understand that. Let me finish. I would say in the 80s, when MTV did come out, and they were playing the Cars on the freaking regular. It was like,
You might
it was
think.
weird because it was like their videos were weird. Their music wasn't what was happening at the time. And so it was like, but it was like very mesmerizing. I feel like a lot of their, you get this weird ghoulish guy with the sunglasses and thing and like the scarecrow thing. And,
he's almost a Joey Ramone kind of looking guy.
Yeah. They just were off. They were like, it made ugly guys feel good about themselves. It's like, it made guys feel like it was about the music. It wasn't about sex appeal.
That's what I liked about him.
Yeah, it was.
Cars and the Ramones. I was like, oh, okay, I could do this.
Yeah, banged up dudes just making music. Yeah, it wasn't. Whereas then like David Lee Roth was about the sex appeal or whatever. But before some of that stuff was happening. I guess Led Zeppelin. You could definitely go back further where that sex appeal is important. But I don't know. It was just like the band and the music is still kind of weird. Where it's like you were saying, Good Times Roll, like it's methodic, but it's still kind of poppy. It's but it's good shit. I love it. Adam, how do you feel about it?
This is a near perfect album. For me, my favorite stretch of this album is You're All I've Got Tonight, Bye Bye Love, and Moving in Stereo, which I think is just such a fantastic stretch. Yeah. And we got some viewers here that are commenting about the album. So Varmensi says, "Don't You Stop" is my favorite. It's underrated for this album. We got Jade Eyes a lot. Good Times is a good earworm. And your mom's arch enemy says, "My best friend's girl was an anthem for me in high school. He never found out."
What a dirtbag. Love it. I'm not going to introduce you to my girlfriend, but I love it.
Yeah, Don't Just Stop was a great song. It was like the song that really like Greg Hawkes took over on it. The song was basically all synthesizers with some like rolling drums, very, very catchy song. Yeah. And when you think about it, it's like, it could be like the sixth song down. It's like there were I think 3-4 singles on this album, and then you had about 5 songs that pretty much received FM regular radio airplay, and Don't You Stop didn't. But when you put on this album, you never took it off. There was never, like I said, there was never a clunker.
So what would you say?
Left it on.
What would you say with this band? This is my assumption of this band, why you would say they're underrated, or maybe why they didn't get this national acclaim, which I think they did for the era they were in. But would you say they got 3 great albums in them? And
no, I think they had more than that. But I think the follow-up is just as good. I think Candio is amazing.
Candio's great, but that's two.
I think Magic is great.
You think they have 5? Because Rolling Stones has like 10. Well, there's bands like that. The reason that they get more acclaim is what I'm saying.
Well, there was a problem. Benjamin Orr died, so they really couldn't
didn't stop Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, but wait, but didn't you say he died in the year 2000?
Yeah, he dies in 2000. But
there's a lot of time before that to make
78 to 2000.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. What happens is they put out a lot of music. They're dominated on the charts for 10 years. Then Rick Ocasek and Benjamin Orr each put out solo albums. Now, Benjamin Orr comes out with an album. He has a top 25 hit with Stay the Night. And Rick Ocasek comes out with an album that he also has a top 40 hit called Emotions. Both great songs. By the time they're going to kind of get back together, Benjamin Orr is sick. And he's going for treatment, but he did play a week before he died in Alaska, and then goes home to Atlanta and passes away. And unfortunately, the last time the Cars ever played together with Rick Ocasek was their induction at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay. First of all, awesome on all that. But I would like to say this. There's a lot of elements to bands that make them great and put them in the Hall of Fame category. One of them is staying together. Like, that's the hardest part. I think making good music is pretty hard, but staying together is even harder. And not let me land a punch, and not dying is important. So I feel like that was way too serious.
Doors don't have a lot of albums. I think it's what you can come out with a lot of albums and you have a lot of shit, but you could also come out with a lot of...
The Beatles stayed together, man. That's why they have so many freaking albums.
10 years.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
Same as the Cars.
With the same lineup?
Way more.
Almost any band that lasted that long.
The Cars never changed their lineup.
Okay.
The Cars never changed their lineup.
Okay, what's a hit after Candy-O album? Like, what's a big hit for their third album?
The
Which
Dangerous
album?
Type.
Shake It Up. What was that on?
Shake It Up was off the Shake It Up.
Oh,
Shake
there
It
was an
Up.
album called Shake It Up?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, yeah, that was a good song.
That's a good song.
Then they had another one called Magic that was really
I think
good.
they blew their load on the first album. I'm going to say.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, they did.
Absolutely
Candy-O's a
not.
good album, and Shake It Up's a good song, but I don't think anything touches this.
hope.
They couldn't follow this album. You think their albums are close to this? I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
I
Candy-O looks great. It's got a Vargas on the front, but it's not, it's definitely not this album. It's like same things we had last week. This is their Appetite for Destruction.
Heartbeat City.
Now, Panorama. These were all great albums.
That's got the
let me
checkered
pull
flag
up,
on, right?
Let me put up Candy-O.
Candy-O's got there's some hits on there. I'm not saying there's not.
Come on, let's go. Since I Held You. It's All I Can Do. Double Life was good. Candy-O was a great song. Got a lot of my head. The Dangerous Type. Man, this was a great album.
The songs people remember the most in the street is going to be off of this album. The people that's
half of their greatest hits. Half of their greatest hits is from one album.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Well, look at also Heartbeat City. Hello Again, and that was the really the height of the MTV. Remember they had the video that was a great one. Magic was a great one.
Great album.
Is Drive Drive their most iconic hit?
Drive,
right? Drive.
Well, that was an iconic video. That was a huge
thing.
That's a good one.
Great song.
You might think,
it could be Benjamin Orr's best vocal performance. Drive.
There's some phenomenal songs that happen after this album. But I think this album, was a peaking point, and then they kept trying to chase this album, and I don't think they quite got there. I think that's why weren't in the Hall of Fame till later. I think bands that come out like 5 albums, just amazing, that kind of stuff. Those are bands that got there first, that got to the Hall of Fame first. Or
how many albums did
Queen and Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones? Those albums came out just bam, 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 Beatles, that kind of stuff.
But Queen had a bunch of clunkers too.
They did.
When they hit,
Try and listen to Hot Space.
Hot Space was on MySpace.
I went to that tour. It was terrible. How many albums did Guns N' Roses have?
I hate Guns N' Roses after Appetite. You know that.
Yeah, it's only the one.
You know that. It's only one album. It's
but
only one album for Guns N' Roses.
I like the Lose Your Illusion.
And I don't think the Cars are underrated.
Album.
I think they're lucky, they had the life they had. Like, that's an amazing. And
Guns N' Roses?
In music and art, there's no underrated, man. If you got 3 houses, you good. I hate that phrase. God, I hate it.
I know. I still think they're underrated.
Underrated? What is
underrated?
Success? Okay, Twitch people.
Twitch
people, talk to me. Are the Cars underrated?
Ballot.
Did they not get their due? Talk to me. Tell me. I think they got their due. They got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They made millions and millions and billions and millions of dollars. They're still making money off of their music. Their kids are going to be rich forever. The lead singer, probably the ugliest guy in rock and roll, makes Meatloaf look like a model. He's got the hottest chick in the 80s. It's like, what are you talking about?
You think Meatloaf is better looking than Rick Ocasek?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
No way.
Absolutely.
No
what
way.
are you, like banging scarecrows?
I'll die on this.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
If we're going just by face,
I like a big burly guy. What's the big deal? Why are you guys? Why are you shaming?
Cool
why
hair.
are you guys body shaming
He did not
Meatloaf?
have cool hair.
Meatloaf had
cool hair too.
He didn't have cool. No, I like Rick Ocasek's hair.
What are you talking about?
You're
Meatloaf
weird. You like
now
weird looking
or
dudes,
Meatloaf
man. I like bears. I'm a bear guy. I like bears.
Meatloaf seemed cool.
Dude,
if you saw 2 guys at a party, and one of them's Meatloaf and one of them's Rick Ocasek.
Rick Ocasek every day. I'm not going near Meatloaf.
I don't know. They would have made a great honeymooners, those 2. You know what I mean? Like if they did a reboot with the honeymooners.
Yeah.
I would have cast them. Did anybody comment, Adam? Because
we got no, not overrated. You can't be underrated with 5 hit albums.
Right.
Yeah.
I still think.
How big did you want them to be?
How big do you want them to be?
I think they should have been a giant band. I think they should have been
They were
in
giant.
They were as big as Blondie and the Talking Heads.
Iggy Pop.
I think they're bigger than Talking Heads.
Bigger than
Iggy
Devo.
Pop is underrated.
Yeah, well, Devo didn't even get into the Rock and Roll of Fame.
I know. But those are the bands that came out. Those, they're not all from the same place, but those were the bands. If you're talking about new wave, you had the Cars, Devo, Blondie, Talking Heads, and I guess the B-52s, right? Those were like some of the big kind of new wave.
Yeah, around the same time.
The Cars probably had the most commercial success.
Oh, absolutely.
Out of any of them.
Hands down.
It's such strong, right? I just sometimes think like when you talk about top
They
bands
even had a
of all
Disney
time,
movie.
They're never in the conversation. Was it Disney or Pixar? Is it the same thing?
Pixar. You're right. Sorry.
Well,
Thank
Disney
you for the
owns
correction.
Pixar now.
Thank you for
So.
stepping on my punchline. All right. Did I tell you about these tires? Did I tell you? Yeah, they come off.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat them right now. Keep talking, Jeff. I'm going to eat them.
But I think they should be like in the conversation as
They're
one of
in the
all-time
conversation.
best
We're
bands
old
of
white
all time.
men, so we're the only ones talking about them. But they're in the conversation.
Hey, I'm pretty Puerto Rican, so
Shut up, dude. You still claim white on your taxes. I've seen it. All right. This is a weird show, but I like it weird. Anything else? We need the audience. Come in, guys. You got to break.
We got Happy Mischief just said the Cars were playing stadiums. Is that what makes them underrated?
They didn't play stadiums.
They did.
They didn't. They were always, if they played, they were a support act, because you can say Lisa and
What's
Culture
wrong with
played
support act?
stadiums as an opening act for
What's wrong
Bowie.
with
They weren't a
support
stadium act.
What's wrong with
I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but they didn't fill stadium. They weren't a stadium act.
But I don't think bands that sounded like that were meant to.
Yeah, it's
They
very
were supposed to
car-
play
It has
small
nothing to do
clubs.
with what they sound like. It has to do with what they can sell. You think that Green Day shouldn't be playing a stadium?
Yeah, but
They're
that's
not
a
a
whole
stadium
other
act.
conversation.
You know, Fall Out Boy shouldn't be playing stadiums.
They
Whoa,
shouldn't be
easy,
playing
Tiger.
at all.
No, but Green Day, just like the Cars hit your generation, the Green Days hit a certain generation. It's
My
not about how
generation.
good the music is. It's about how many, kids the kids
How
are into
how
it.
much you can sell.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
When
when
Dookie
the cars
came
got
out,
old. The cars got old.
That's what-
No,
Yeah.
they died.
Dookie
we all
came
die
out-
now, but
Yeah,
I think
now they
Benjamin
nobody
Orr
likes a
might have-
used car, Jeff. Nobody.
Benjamin Orr, I think, was either
Thank you,
his
Anthony.
late
You
40s
appreciate
or
me.
early 50s when he passed away. He died way too early.
Whatever. I think that's old for a rock star.
Tell that to
50?
Keith Richards.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have much time.
Keith Richards is going to outlive us all.
I can't wait till he dies so people can stop talking about him.
People have been talking about how the Rolling Stones are old since at least 1990.
Yes.
Ever since I was a
before
kid.
that. Before
Ever
that,
since-
they talked about him being old. Yeah.
They weren't that old when
No.
people started
80
saying how old they were.
Dude,
in 88, I worked on their Steel Wheels tour. And back in 88, they were considered kind of like getting up there a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
so-
they're old.
In 88.
I saw the Rolling Stones in 1997, and they played for almost 3 hours. They just came out, rocked the place. They played hits for 3 hours.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Springsteen.
that's why they were in the Hall of Fame like the day it opened.
But I feel like the Rolling Stones they're kind of underrated.
They're a little underrated, though.
they're not
I
underrated.
mean, it's like, I don't know.
They never got their due.
Springsteen, I think, just today announced that I think they're going to be touring in 2002 with E Street Band. Guys in his 70s.
Really? I thought he had to. Go ahead.
What? Oh, I was just gonna say I saw Max Weinberg in a liquor store in Red Bank, New Jersey one time.
Nice.
Yeah.
He was definitely buying booze for Bruce. 'Cause I think I don't know how if this tour he's going to be able to take his anklet bracelet off. Isn't he like on probation or something?
they dropped
charges
it.
were dropped.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He was born to run. Hey, yo. All right. All right. Anything else on the Cars? Any feedback?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
let's see. We got Happy Mischief says that the Cars, July 11th, 1979, Rupp Arena, Lexington for a stadium show.
It's an arena. It's not a stadium.
It's
Oh my
same
God!
thing,
Are you
dude.
really
Same
going to
thing.
split hairs between
Same thing.
arenas and stadiums?
Yeah, okay. It's the
50,000
same
seats
thing, bro.
to 50,000 seats.
It's still a lot. It's still a lot, dude. There's probably seven bands.
I'm not saying that they should be playing like fucking CBGBs. Okay, they deserve.
That's exactly where they should be playing.
That's what made
it's not
them.
where they should be playing.
It is where they would be playing.
Better than that.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
They're
That's
not better than CBGBs.
Nobody is. That's where it started. Well, why would they be better than that?
That was the whole point. The
It's
whole
like
reason
Chappelle going to the Dangerfields or the Cellar. Like that's what you do. What's wrong
That's
with
why people knew those bands, because they played rooms like CBGB.
That's where they got their start.
Exactly. You go back to that.
But the Cars never played CBG because it's Cars with, we're again in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, they actually started in Ohio.
I'm sure that they played at CBGB's.
Let's find that out, Adam. Find that out.
Yeah. You think that the Cars never played at CBGB's?
I think by the time they broke, in the first album, they're already like huge. They're big enough, bigger than CBGB's. They may played like
the C stands for car. I don't know if you know that, but
Cars, B-52s
stand for country.
We know that, Jeff. It's a comedy show.
I know.
Trying to bring more comedy to this, and you're not letting me. All right, Adam, what do you got?
Let's see. Rick Ocasek played CBGBs, but I don't see the Cars.
Same thing. Whatever.
Right, but he didn't play it until I just lost it. But
so he was huge, and then he played it.
Yeah, it seemed.
See, that was my point, Jeff.
That was my point.
A lot of guys came back to play it
at
the end.
This was after the Cars. Yeah.
That's my point, Jeff. It's like there's no place that these guys, they're not just going to play arenas. Like they play the place where the soul is. I mean, you know how many great people come into little spots. I was at Nell's doing an open mic, and Prince was there the night before. Like nobody cares. They want to go with the soul of where they got good at. People go back to those places. The Rolling Stones do that shit. They go to little venues and stuff.
Yeah, I remember the secret show.
Well, they did. I remember there was a place in Connecticut called Toads, but they usually do that as a warm-up show. I remember bands like Blue Oyster Cult and all these bands when they were big.
They're on MySpace too, guys.
Yeah, they'd play like the Long Island club scene. They kind of warm up, do their set, see what kind of works or not, and then they bring it out on the road.
Yeah. No, it's okay. All right. We got to get to our next album. We're running out of time. Okay. Adam, break us in. What do we got?
All right. So we got the 2019 debut of Billie Eilish, When We All Fall Asleep. Where do we go? And this is, I think this is five Grammy winning. This is.
She won 5 Grammys. That's so underrated.
Right. I was about to say that she is not. She's not underrated. This is
she's not underrated.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she was pretty much on the track to being a pop superstar before this album came out, and this is a sort of like a goth, almost like dreamy bedroom pop album, and. I wasn't really that familiar with her work. I was kind of late to the Billie Eilish party, and this past week I've been listening to this album a lot. It's really grown on me. I think it's a fantastic album. It's she's incredibly talented. She's got a lot of potential. I know she's got another album coming out in July. And what'd you guys think of this album?
I liked it. I think it's it's another one that makes me want to be a cutter, but I still enjoyed it. It's got this kind of soulful. It's another young person with a whole lot of soul, and so I love it when that happens. It's like an Amy Winehouse kind of situation where it's like somebody, it's almost like reincarnated. There's somebody else in there, and it's just it's cool. I mean, I think you got to be in a certain mindset probably to really enjoy this music. But I definitely want to get into her a little bit more. But the only downside I saw is some of the music felt similar to each other, songs and stuff. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was it's a cool sound. It just it's got that kind of girl angst thing that that Anthony's all about. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Yeah, Anthony, what'd you think?
I liked it. I don't think that the album was made for people like me. I don't think I'm not the demographic at all.
You're not a hot girl with baggy clothes who's trying to pretend not to be hot. You kind of are.
But I like. She's got a good voice, and the there's some cool. I like what was the one about Satan?
All girls go to hell.
All girls go to hell. Wish You Were Gay. Like those were like pretty cool. I like the subject matter, but I also
Wish You Were Gay.
I like,
Jeff says that to me all the time.
Is that what he texts you?
Yeah, he says, "Can you play this song?" And then I wish you were gay. That's what.
But I also, some of the songs did start to sound similar. It's kind of this whispery singing with like this minimal production for the like drum machines and whatever.
I mean, it's nice when somebody who's popular amongst the youth is like not cheesy and not like, it's nice when it's not bubblegum music for kids, youth. And there's just so much crap out there for, that they just package for young people.
Yeah.
So it's nice when something's dark and edgy and whatever. It's like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It did not feel like something that was packaged.
Yeah.
It felt like something that she wanted to make rather than like something that the record label was manufacturing. So that I like about it.
Yeah, it sounded like crap. Well, Jeff,
almost
what do
like
you
a
think?
demo.
Yeah.
I like the song "Bad Guy." I thought that's a kind of like a really good, catchy song. But I kind of agree with you a lot when you said all the songs kind of sound alike. Giving it like a 1-2 listen over, it does sound like one track kind of goes into the other. It's a little slow moving for my pace. To take Anthony's line, I also feel this is not geared towards me or like my generation or what I kind of listen to. It's a little depressing for me. I mean, and listen, we reviewed on this show the Cure. And I can get into depressing music, but not. It has to be somewhat catchy. And aside from "Bad Guy" and maybe "All Girls Go to Hell," whatever that hell song is, I thought there was nothing really that had any type of hook to it.
I think it was supposed to be that. It covered an anti-hook.
Yeah.
I think only "Bad Guy" probably has like the most has a more memorable rhythm to it.
I didn't find it to be depressing though. There's quite a few tracks where you can hear her laughing during the recording. It sounds like she was having a blast making that album.
Yeah,
in a monotone kind of way, I guess. I mean,
it's kind of like the Cars singing "Let the Good Times Roll."
Yeah. It's funny that we're like the songs kind of sound the same, and then we're like Sex Pistols' first album,
Cars.
just killer all the way through. Like
the Cars, that first album, you have a lot of different sounds on that album. It's a very different album.
Punk rock is, pretty much it's the same.
Yeah, I like this chick though. I'm gonna seek her out. I think she's got good stuff coming, and it's like she's early into it, and it's like you could tell she doesn't give a shit, which makes for an interesting artist. And so she's doing what she wants to do, and I think it's cool. Any Billie Eilish fans out there?
Yeah. We got Holly Gutty says it's a great album. That she makes the music with her brother is awesome. She records music literally in her brother's bedroom. Yeah, they write and produce their own stuff, which is absolutely amazing. And I know there's a whole documentary on her in this album that's on Apple TV.
So that's so cool. That's cool. I mean, Anthony and I, we produce stuff together, but we're not, getting 5 Grammys yet. Right. I always heard my singing up top. We're a little bit underrated. We're close. We're very overrated. We're very overrated. But yeah, she's cool, man. I think it's interesting. And that's so cool. She makes it with her brother in her bedroom. That's what makes it even cooler. And talk about, she's more punk rock than fucking any of them. Yeah. Because that to me is the ultimate in this day and age when you can produce music and not need anybody and not need a production and not need a label and not need all this stuff. I'm sure she has all that, but just to do it through, kind of the means of technology we all have is pretty great. She probably got a Zoom recorder and a Mac, just like the rest of us. And then they're making this great music. And so that's pretty impressive. I think that's really cool. That
is more punk rock than the way Nevermind the Bollocks was made.
Exactly.
They use session musicians.
Yeah, of course they had to. Those guys can play too well. Yeah,
Sid Vicious is not on. He's not playing bass on any of those songs.
They had to super glue his fingers on the fret. Like that guy was so out of his mind on every Billie
Eilish is more punk rock than the Sex Pistols. I said it.
Word of the day. I like it. And way more overrated than the Cars. So
definitely overrated. More overrated than the Cars. That's for sure.
Well, not really, dude. She just started. With 5 Grammys. She just started, man. I didn't.
But what if this is her? What if she has the same curse as the Cars, where she can't follow up that first album?
She's probably just doing, she's producing the music in her bedroom. They're probably only doing shows in the living room. So there's not arenas. She's underrated.
Right. Yeah. She's headlining Governor's Ball and Coachella. Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I'm headlining Governor's Comedy Club. And that's with the plastic in front of the stage. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Goldfish. All right, Adam, what do we got coming in? Let's go.
All right, so we got James Brown, the Godfather of Soul, live at Gastane Park. It's a historic 85 live performance. It's got it's got his hits. I Feel Good. Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. I Got the Feeling. It's on a Out of This World picture disc. It looks like a pretty cool vinyl. We got the new album from Lord Huron, Long Lost, 2 LPs, 4th studio album. Should be a good one. We got My Bloody Valentine, a reissue of MBV, their 2013 follow-up to Loveless. And I like this Amazon quote about it. Great music for crying, doing drugs, or both.
Wow. That is good perfect. Time. That is our comment.
Yeah, and we got the Violent Femmes added up reissue. Their the compilation 23 tracks from 81 to 93.
Nice. The Violent Femmes takes me back. There you go. Very cool, guys. Thank you for listening and watching us today on Twitch. We appreciate Dustin's Vinyl. Please go to our Instagram at Dustin's Vinyl and our Facebook page, and let us know if there's an album you want us to cover. And all right, thank you, everybody. Play us out, Anthony. Let's go.
Okay, just a Cars song?
You're the dude. You do whatever you want. Clap, Jeff. Jeff is he's to up his fun game.
Dance.
He can't dance. Not with that serious face. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you later.